They seem to elevate their gameplay as well. So I can't agree more with the desk. It's got to be Vitality here. Can Top Blokes win a game? That's the question for me.
Well, we're going to start off with K-Dot, who had so many people questioning him, and he seems very upset by this idea. That was instantaneous from Renault Vitality, and even then, obviously, the desk saying that K-Dot has been a step or two below his usual self over the last few months, which is all fine and dandy, but you look across at his two teammates, Alpha, who for the longest time looked like he was struggling to settle in at the first half of last season, has definitely settled in, playing at his best. Flame is going to answer back with one. Like Fairy Peak has been phenomenal, but they've both decided to clatter into each other for reasons, I guess.
I don't know what on earth Vitality were doing there. Like you said, just
Look,
Alpha
you're the color commentator. You've got to explain that one to all of us.
I don't know if there's any real reason for this one, Shogun. They just drove into each other by mistake, and then K-Dot was in no man's land. He wasn't defending the goal or challenging the ball. That is pretty much the worst thing you can do as the Rocket League goalkeeper. But Vitality, you know, they should be fine here. If there's one thing they are good at, it's shaking off a misplay, something going wrong, and then just going and scoring at the other side of the field.
I think K-Dot especially has seen bigger setbacks in his RLCS career. Has already had a teammate score an own goal in RLCS Game 7 for the World Championships. We're not naming names on who that was. But for those of you that have been around for a while, you can probably guess.
Yeah, you'll probably know that we're talking about Turbo Pulse. Yeah.
People just heard over, like, we need to get the Wikipedia on it. You know what it says, like, alternative names? It's Turbo, Taruru, own goal.
Own goal in a really important moment of a match. But also,
he then scores a hat-trick
for World Championships. So, I mean, if it's like you have to take the bad with the good, don't you? You have to take the own goals with the World Championships, and maybe there's a direct correlation. More own goals equals more World Championships. That would be a great world, honestly, if that was true.
Horrible world, those, to be facing down Fairy Peak in a one-on-one. Fairy Peak already just proving during the off-season that, you know, no matter what he wants to do, he tends up to be the best at it. And he has got himself a chance to shoot, immediately turned it in.
Yeah, these guys just play the game a lot. They just grind. And that's why they are so consistent. That's why they are so difficult to shake and so difficult to get out of their comfort zone. They've seen it all before. They've probably seen this 10 times more than some of the, you know, people are just hanging on to the pro League. K-Dot with the double touch, 3-1. And that is what you like to see from the three-time world champion. What a pass by Fairy as well. Blind pass, chip over the shoulder to K-Dot, who was more than ready for it.
Reminder, lads, K-Dot's slumping at the moment. Just quickly put that one back out there. My goodness. He is, at the moment it comes back to the RLCS, K-Dot is right focused again, and I think the most terrifying thing that we could have done, I'm blaming Gibbs for this, is that he called each and every one of these a regional. K-Dot and RLCS regionals.
That's true.
He doesn't not perform in them. He has been, in the last, what is it, 9 of them? 8? It has been ridiculous, his record in the RLCS.
Yeah, he just wins regional things and, you know, international as well, but we're going to have to make do with regional for now, of course. And based on what we've seen so far today, I'm not complaining. What a start to RLCSX. And Vitality are having a great start here as well. They're, you know, already one loss on the day, thanks to Solary. But like I said earlier, Top Blokes will be doing well if they can replicate that, if they can do likewise.
I think especially for a lot of people, eyes will all be on Archie, although that's not a great touch from Fairy. Not a sentence you're going to hear us say too often throughout this season, despite how long it is going to be. Alpha with Fairy up with him. They're going to look to try and play this one as quickly as they possibly can. K-Dot will be over in support on the far side. They like to try and find him with it, as he has actually got himself out of position in the midfield. Alpha now on the goal line. Only with 2 goals separating them. A big opportunity. You can turn this into a real game.
I love that pass. This is brilliant stuff. And no boost. Really no time to decide what to do. Just had to flip into that ball perfectly. RG in for the finish. But he done well. And now with just under 2 minutes left, they've made this close again. And Vitality don't look completely unbreakable today, if nothing else.
Vitality have definitely slowed the pace significantly. They have been very much happy to play at the pace that Top Blokes prefer. really how you'd like to be doing it, especially when you have got Archie on the other side, who isn't necessarily as experienced at this level. You'd want to put the pressure on him. You really want to see, whether or not he would break down with the amount of situations that Renault Vitality can put him in. K-Dop tries to find Alpha on the far side. Bit of boomer ball between the two teams, but Ferry does the smart thing, hands off to his teammate, who couldn't quite catch it on the half volley. So instead, we are going to see continued pressure from Top Blokes. Only one goal down, but that is a great clear from K-Dop. That is away from Castillo, straight over to Ferry Peak, who was waiting for it. And he'll be unhappy to see that a teammate of Top Blokes was able to get back in time to prevent his follow-up.
You can already see the Vitality. I've got a smart way to clear the ball. I was, talking a lot about Barcelona's struggles with this earlier today. Vitality do not have that same problem. They love to dribble, they love to pass in defense, and they also love to boom the ball every now and then, and that really keeps Top Blokes guessing. They can't figure them out on this one. Alpha smashes in a fourth goal. Great assist there by K-Dop.
Yeah, K-Dop has had an outstanding game one for himself. 2 goals. He's got himself on the assist board as well. And what an assist it is. Alpha could just pick his spot, and unfortunately for the opposing team, his spot was the entirety of the net. Just blast it as hard as he could. And there was no way anyone was going to get to it. And here's the dangerous thing, is that Vitality here, I think you'll agree with me here, Johnny, is that this seems like them at playing good, but not beyond that. This is not a great Vitality game. This is merely what you would expect from them.
Yeah, they've definitely got other levels to go to. That's the brilliant save. Castillo shooting low underneath the first defender. And the second one had it covered. Now K-Dop with the dribble, and in it goes. Using the option in field as a deterrence for the goalkeeper to challenge him. Nice little pop from close range. You don't need to make it fancy all the time. Simple tricks still do the job.
So K-Dop, hat-trick hero here in game one. And that was an offensive example of what you were talking about earlier on, Johnny, about how Vitality are very good at creating multiple options. There's going to be their 6th. Everyone is just scoring for fun now. Ready Vitality, they were made to sweat for it for a couple of moments.
That's definitely a caster clear, though, there by Flame.
Yeah.
Just bopping the ball straight up into the ceiling. I'm not really sure what he had planned. Probably trying to send it long all the way down the field. But they run the risk, of course, of playing it a bit too vertically. Obviously, by this point, the game was 99.991% over. Flame going to try and get something. Consolation prize, maybe, and Archie will help him out. With the second left, they do get another walk-in goal. Nice pass by Flame, but far too little too late. I love the mind game on K-Dop, though, making him look pretty silly there. What on earth is Alpha doing with the in and out save? I don't think he would do that if this was a close game.
Look, Archie can now turn around to people. He can, not mention what the end scoreline was. He can not mention how that goal eventually ends up going in. He can now say in his first ever RLCS game against Renault Vitality, he got 2 goals. That's not a half bad thing to start bragging about.
Yeah, and he got an assist after faking out K-Dop. So definitely 3 big wins there for Archie and for Top Blokes. Unfortunately, Vitality were just far too much. They have got the changes of pace and the ability to just play at any tempo and be comfortable. And it makes it very difficult to read. Top Blokes couldn't really figure out a way to consistently put the pressure on Vitality and get into offense so they can show off their fancy mechanics and backboard reads that we all know they can have and have shown in recent times. Worryingly, like you said, this doesn't look like Vitality playing at their best either. They can do better than this. They can, Fairy Peak might just show up and score 9 goals in the next game. You never know with Vitality. But even when they're not playing 100% sharp, they're still more than enough to destroy Top Blokes.
Yeah, and the issue as well for Top Blokes is that you see the way Vitality are playing. Vitality are not under any sort of stress when it comes to how fast this game has been so far. So typically the gut response is, okay, we need to play faster. But against Vitality, is that really a smart idea? Because if you try and go against them in pace, they will outpace you. And they've got better options, regarding how to go for those transitions and to really catch you out whilst you've only got 1 player left. The only thing I want to make sure that they definitely do is they just try and stay spread out. A couple of occasions they were caught with 2 players trying to commit to the same offensive threat that we got from Vitality. If you do that, they already have another one somewhere else that you just haven't quite spotted yet. They will just go for it, and then those 2 players end up panicking and just send your whole defensive rotation into chaos. They have got to be on point with where each other are.
Oh yeah, I mean, they have to do pretty much everything perfectly, and even then they still might not win. It's a real conundrum for Top Blokes and for pretty much anybody against Vitality when they're playing at their best. That's a nice pass that is saved relatively easily by Fairy Peak, and that's real composure as well to just bring the ball into the corner and force a 50-50. That really limits what Top Blokes can do in the play. If you saw Flame back there by himself, he didn't want to attack the ball just in case the counter-attack starts. That's a good pass, but it's sent into the bar by Archie. Opportunity's gone astray. You need to take those against Vitality.
Yeah, certainly. You're not going to get too many. I mean, that's about as clean as it's usually going to look against them. But that is a phenomenal transition.
Oh.
Fairy Peak takes the shot, but even better to keep it out. My goodness.
Yeah, great save there by Top Blokes. K-Dop setting up Fairy now, and he's taking a touch, forces another challenge, and Alpha's going to put it in for him. But once again, Fairy Peak just taking his time, knows when he can make an extra touch on the ball. Masterful challenge by the legend in ones.
Archie is going to start hating this because that is the second time now that he's expected an immediate shot, and the 2v1 advantage has been used against him. He will be desperate to avoid that situation for a third time. Last one being a K-Dop. Potential to maybe go infield, instead ended up bopping it over the top of him. Casio down the line will be K-Dop just trying to follow it. Already up by 1-0 here in game number 2. Casio does not have many options, instead looks to go solo. And it wasn't a half bad idea.
I love the confidence here by Casio, really went for that. And that is something that will catch even Vitality off guard. If there's one thing that Top Blokes do maybe have on their side in this matchup, it would be the finesse aspect of the game, because Vitality are very much a brute force kind of team, and outside of, you know, an occasional flip reset from Alpha 54, they just keep it very simple. Archie and Flame, even Casio, all very fancy players and extremely deceptive with some of their plays in the final third. Side-on collision there between Archie and Fairy. Don't know what rule you would call that, but they have both broken it.
Let's not go naming any more rules. We don't need any more online arguments. Come on, Johnny, have some mercy. Right now, that pass had to be so much quicker. And I feel like the same rule set applies here that I had said earlier on between Fadeaway and Team Liquid. Top Blokes are to stand any chance here. This can't look too clean. This has got to be an ugly, almost hard to watch game of Rocket League if you really want to be taking down Renault Vitality, because if they are playing clean, you're going to really struggle against them. That being said, despite being 1 down, I have to say, I feel like the stronger chances have been following over to Top Blokes.
Yeah, they've not been shooting hard on target. Need to take a leaf out of Barcelona's playbook with those. Alpha going to try and show them how it's done. He misses, and now it's a 3v1 counter. Make it a 2v1, but will Fairy be denied? No, still standing strong in the way, but the follow-up from Casio is good. And it was just enough this time. It was well played by Fairy. Dodges the bump and makes the first save. But there is no immediate follow-up for Vitality.
Yeah, use the numbers game that they had on the transition, and that is well played to bring us up to 1 each. Top Blokes have not been outclassed here. They have certainly been a step behind on the majority of the neutral phases, but right now, in game 2, they are looking so much stronger than they were in game 1. That was way too much on the pass, though. Archie gonna need a couple of mercs stacked on top of each other if you want any chance at it. Although that's a huge mistake. Fairy Peak gonna leave only one player back, tries to go for the in and out, and Flame almost managed to take the infield pass and turn it in.
And there's been quite a few of those in and out saves for Vitality, not effective, but they're hanging on here. And Top Blokes have got to be careful not to get too excited and take a risk that's too much in the play. Leave the counter attack open. That is, of course, how Vitality won their last big tournament online with the other team. Oxygen it was at the time, just maybe getting a bit too keen on their own offense. 45 seconds to go. Good look for Top Blokes in the tail end of this game. Like we said before, they need to play perfectly here. Vitality are just waiting for that one moment. Here's K-Dop. Nice defense by Flame. K-Dop had that shot on target.
Yeah, the only real saving grace there for Flame is that the shot and the dribble was being come straight down the middle. So K-Dop didn't have too many options when it came to angles to put the ball in from. was always going to be quite easy to read. It's just making sure that your car is in position beforehand. Top Blokes, 15 seconds left. Very much within a puncher's chance of this game. Ferry Peak looks to clear. That can be taken over by Flame, who will follow it. Has he got the net?
Oh.
Good save from Alpha. Again, they just need that one shot that can find the top corner. Instead, Alpha looks to go all the way by himself. Cassio ends up popping the ball even further as Archie and his teammates will help the ball down. So we've got ourselves some overtime. Top Blokes have a chance to put themselves on the board.
They had a few really good chances in this Game 2 regulation time. A couple of them were well struck, thinking of Cassio and Flame in particular, but a few others were not so much. They've been lacking power on the finishing touches, and they're going to need to smash the ball if they're going to get it past Vitality defense. Right back into more Top Blokes pressure, though. And this is something that they've been able to do for quite a long time in Game 2. They didn't get any kind of consistent pressure in the first game, so it's trending well for them. But all of a sudden, Alpha 54 gets a clean look at the goal. And that is that. 2-0 Vitality. And Top Blokes, after all that hard work, are in an even harder position to come back from.
Yeah, just completely lost on who was supposed to be challenging. There was a cut across in the midfield, and then suddenly they dived someone in from their other corner, and that is just... It's an opportunity lost for Top Blokes, unfortunately. They would feel like this was their best opportunity that they might see in this series. And for me, they were the stronger team of the two. But, you know, you can't make those sort of mistakes. Renault Vitality, they were stuck on the defensive side of the field, but, you know, that doesn't phase them too much. You've got to find the play that is going to break them down, because territory doesn't necessarily mean goals.
Yeah, there were too many shots off target and too many weak shots on target from Top Blokes in this game. I'm looking just for confident, hard, and accurate shooting in the rest of this series. That's the only way that they're going to score enough goals to get game wins here. But they had the pressure, they had the opportunities. It's all about putting them away if they're going to have any chance in this matchup. If they're going to have any chance of making it deep into this competition. The confidence just wasn't there all the time. You know, there was a few moments. I think one flashy play from Flame and one flashy play from Cassio. But apart from that, it was just comfortable stuff for Vitality and defense.
Absolutely was. So, game number 3 coming up here. Can Vitality make it through to next week, only suffering one game loss, and that being earlier on against Solary? Or will it be us going over to our game number 4? Top Blokes will obviously want to try and grab themselves something here. They'll feel like they deserve it, especially off that game 2 performance. And speaking of Solary, they are currently playing on our E-League stream. It's them against Chalked, and they're currently up 2-0. So if you guys want to go and check that one out, be sure to open that one up. Or if you want to watch both, the squad stream is right there. You find the button, make sure you click it, and enjoy double the amount of Rocket League action.
Yeah, remember, dude, click that watch in squad mode button immediately underneath the stream if you are, of course, watching on the Twitch website. You'll be able to see even more Rocket League action. That's something that I love about this format. We have so many games going on at the same time, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results come in throughout the day. We're getting into the time where we're going to see a lot of teams getting eliminated and a lot of teams qualifying as well.
Certainly are. The rest of this broadcast is really, you know, we still give you the first 2 matches to figure out, okay, this is where roughly the teams are today. And then the rest of the broadcast is just, okay, everything is important. Like, this team is going through, this team might be going out. And even by the end of it, we are obviously going to have our teams that either win and stay in or lose and go home. The 2-2 matchups. So truly a phenomenal setup that we have got going on with the new format. So far here in game number 3, very even between them both. A lot of Boomer Bowl being played between the 2 sides.
And a bit of a heavy touch there from Alpha, gives the ball away to Flame, but he's able to track back and make up for his own misplay there. A little bit of small range passing plays now between Vitality players, but not the most well-struck passes there. A bit too far behind the incoming player. This is awkward. Fairy Peak, definitely one of the best players in the world at handling these kind of positions. If you've got to have somebody in that spot to save your team, it would be him.
I've definitely seen him in 1v1 games where he's just spent 3 minutes in net saving flake shots. Definitely not an easy person to do that against, and just held on to a 1-goal lead for the longest time. So if he can do that all by himself, I think that he's going to be doing it for quite well when he's only got to try and save 1 or 2 before his teammates get back to help him.
Oh, wow.
As Alpha just showing off some of that individual brilliance. As the terrifying part is that any one of these players can end up 1v3ing, yeah? As Archie tries to find Cassio. Cassio too busy trying to focus on the potential bump, and that is going to lead to a play almost dropping away for them, as Cassio, I think, just wants to get his teammates back. A double commit, though, will make life a little bit harder for Vitality, and a demo will instantly make it much easier again. Then going to come in for a shot. Fairy Peak off the backboard. No follow-up for Renault Vitality. Still 0-0, and it is another one that Top Blokes will be looking at and saying, all right, well, Vitality's still not completely firing on all cylinders. We can still get a great game here.
Oh, Fairy Peak wanted the bump after popping the ball into the ceiling there. And the defender just evaded him. Now Alpha's taking contact, but K-Dop has a free touch. It's messy stuff, and you know, you wondered what this game would look like when it gets messy. Who would it favor? It looks like Vitality are going to come out on top of that aspect of the game as well. Good opening there for Fairy Peak, and a well-finished effort also, going to a place where the defender could not go, and too quickly for him to reposition.
Well, I was saying earlier on about, you know, making it a bit of a dirtier matchup. I meant for all 6 players. Don't just spill the ball on the floor in your own side of the field and expect Vitality to, you know, join the chaos. Instead, Top Blokes really just did the damage to themselves, as it is an infield pass over to Cassio, decides to lever it towards Flame. Couldn't quite get there. Good ideas, though, from Top Blokes, and they are going to need them now because they have got 100 seconds left on the clock, and that is so dangerous from Archie. Ends up passing it straight across the own face of his net. He has got away with it, and it's still only with 1.
Yeah, he was right, though. He thought, I don't think K-Dop can score from that angle. And he was absolutely spot on. K-Dop could.
I think he might be one of the only people to say that, or even think it.
It's a very dangerous line of thought there. Oh, I don't think K-Dop can score from that angle. Yeah, don't rely on that all that often.
Here we go. 1 minute now. Top Blokes still stuck in their own side of the field. Archie would be a downfield option for them, but the ball's just not being played quick enough for them to even consider getting the power to find him. Forced to call him back. Alpha off the ceiling. He's got the reset. Crucial touch. Top Blokes not where they want to be. Fairy's touch straight to the corner. He's given up the ball. Did not give it the 100 boost. That is crucial. Archie were forced to retreat. Very rarely going to get more than that off Fairy Peak. Cassie off the backboard again. It's going to be dangerous. K-Dop, though, was available.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
And Top Blokes.
Oh, dear.
They have all committed. They went for the full send, and it has fully failed.
I think that shot there by Flame pretty much sums up for me the biggest weakness for Top Blokes, and that is that final shot, the actual thing that you're working towards. You know, all this setup, all this pressure, all these passes, all these clears, working towards shooting the ball, actually hitting it towards the big orange hole in the wall, and then the moment comes and they just completely fluff it. And you're not going to score against Vitality. I mean, well, definitely not with shots like that one. But with the overall shooting quality that we've seen from Top Blokes today.
And there are players out there that can prove to you that, you know, you can have shooting without necessarily a great ability to set it up at this level, but you can't have a great ability to set up without a good set of shooting opportunities. And yeah, that is definitely what has been the detractor for Top Blokes. They cannot get an extra one for the road. Renault Vitality, to the surprise of nobody, are in 3-0 on the day.
And that will put them at the very top of the table because Barca, of course, dropped 2 games against Fadeaway, whereas Vitality have only dropped 1 to Solary, sweeping Top Blokes to at least go in with the best record and undefeated as well, as expected. Is anybody surprised by this? I don't think so. And this is likely to continue at this stage of competition. You don't think Vitality are going to have any issues. And you're right, they don't.
Absolutely not. I think for Top Blokes, whilst it was definitely a series that you feel like there was a game or two available to them, especially the way Vitality were playing.
Game 2, yeah.
They won't come out of this feeling all that unmotivated. I mean, they weren't really expected to take much. It almost seemed like with the way they were playing that they didn't really expect themselves to be taking too much from that one. However, they are going to be going down to 2-1 with their current scoreline on the day. But when we come back after a short break, we're going to be heading over to round number 4 of our Swiss system.